Hello, today I'm going to do a video of using all e.l.f. products. I've already put my skincare on and every one of those is e.l.f. I will insert a picture of the products that I used, and then I'm going to use all e.l.f. makeup. I do have a mirror this way, so I will be turning that way and back towards you. The first thing I'm going to use is primer, and I have this e.l.f. Liquid Poreless Putty Primer, and I'm going to put some of that on my face. Don't take a whole lot, you know, and that just helps your makeup to go on and stay on. At least that's what they say, but you know, as I've said before, I went many years, didn't use all this stuff, and my makeup worked just fine, but we'll try it because we got it. And then I'm going to put some eye brightener. This also is e.l.f. and it's the Putty Color Correcting Eye Brightener. So it's similar to the Catrice that I used last time, though this is not pink. It is a beige color, more like skin tone. So we'll use that to brighten our eyes up a little bit. And let's see, then I need, hang on, be right back. So I was looking for an e.l.f. eyeshadow primer. I do have this little sample tub I got of the Poreless Putty Primer, which, you know, I already put some putty primer on my face. But I'm going to use this as my eyeshadow primer. And I'm going to use all e.l.f. brushes. This one is the Complexion Duo. It's a dual end brush. So I'm just going to use a little bit of that and put it on my eyelids. That's what I'm using as my eyeshadow primer. Probably not what it's made for, but that's what I'm using it for. And it's not going to hurt a thing. And one reason I like to order directly from the e.l.f. cosmetic company is you do get all kind of little samples. That's what this is. I got it free. I have lots of little free things that I've gotten by purchasing from e.l.f. Next I'm going to do, I like to do my eyes. So I have this e.l.f. the New Classics eyeshadow palette, and I like this. I have several of the little 4-pan palettes, the little, they call them bite size, and I really like those. But for today, I'm going to use this one. I have to grab a brush. Hang on, be right back. It's funny, I'm, you know, new to doing YouTube videos, and I've noticed no matter how hard you prepare, there's something you don't bring over where you need it, and you have to grab it. So I'm going to take, I have an e.l.f. It's actually a smudge eyeshadow brush, but it's the only one I can find at this time, so I'm going to use it for everything. I'm going to go in up here on this corner. That is called, well, it just says cream. And we're going to put that right on our eyelid and around on the eyebrow. I'm trying to look at you and look in my mirror both, so I will be doing both. So I just kind of take that and spread it all around. So that's kind of like a base. And then let's see, what color? I have on my Jaws shirt today. It says Amity Island. You notice the surfboard there's got a big chunk out of it where the Jaws shark has taken a bite of it. And my friend Lacey, happy birthday, Lacey. She just had a birthday, and I sent her one similar, same shirt, just a different color. So I hope she's watching, so she'll know that I have one of those shirts also. So let's see, I could pretty well go with any of these colors. One I like for sure is this right here. It's called Charmed. So I'm going to use some of that. And as I've said before, I always start out real lightly because you can always add, but it's harder to take away. I'm just going to put that on what would be the crease if I didn't have hooded eyes. And you know, I don't know if everybody knows what hooded eyes means. I didn't know that's what it was called until I started watching YouTube makeup videos. My eyes have been like that for years. I actually had a surgery one time to remove some of that, and because it hung down over my eyes, and my eye doctor felt like I needed to have that done to help my eyesight. But you know what? And the lady who did my surgery told me it'll come back, and she's right, it did. But it's just skin that hangs down, and there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, even if you lose weight, gain weight, that really has nothing to do with it. I guess it's hereditary, and if your eyes are going to do that, they're just going to do it. So there's that charmed color. I really like that. I'm going to go back into this cream color up here. That's the name of it, cream. Kind of odd name for an eyeshadow that's powder, but that's what it is. So that's what we'll say. And another thing I do too that I learned from watching other people do makeup is you kind of want to swipe up in your eyebrow, and that's so that any of your skincare products that you put on, they probably get up in there. I'm sure they do, so that helps to get some of that off. On the main lid, I'm going to take some of this. Let's do Glamour. Why not be glamorous today? You know, not going anywhere. I did go out earlier. I had to go to Dollar General, and then I went into Food Line. I decided I'd make a meatloaf for dinner, and I didn't have any green peppers, so I had to go do that. Went to Dollar General, had to get my grandson some of the chips he likes. There's only one certain brand he likes, so you know, as his mamaw, I go try to get what he wants. So that's the eyeshadow. That's not too bad, pretty good. Next thing we're going to do are the eyebrows, and of course I use e.l.f. I always use e.l.f. every day. Love this eyebrow pencil. This is the waterproof one. I just, for some reason, think that waterproof one works better than the non-waterproof. So I just start over here in the corner. I'm going to try to do this. Looking over here at you, I'll probably make, you know, even more of a mess than I do normally. Let me look over here for a minute. Straighten it out a little bit. And then take the spoolie in, kind of go through it. And then do the other. Get started right in the corner. And just kind of put that on there, wiping it over your eyebrow all the way down. And take the spoolie and go back over it. Not the best set of eyebrows I've ever done, but you know, we're gonna live with it because I'm not redoing it. I will put the ends back on my eyeshadow pencil because I'm finished with that. Next, I take and I know I just had that sitting here, you know, of course, now I don't see it. You know, how does that happen? How is it that I just had something and then I don't have it? Anyway, hold on, I'll be wrong. It was over on the other counter. I didn't have it over here, but this is the e.l.f. Wow Brow Tinted Gel. I also use this every day, no matter what brand of makeup I'm wearing, because I really like it. It's kind of like a little mascara for your eyebrows. And just go up in there, put some around. And then do the other, kind of brush up as you go. And if you feel like you need more color, you can always go backwards, and that puts more color into your brow. But I really like the e.l.f. products. I think they're just great. So everything I'm using today is e.l.f. Next, I'm going to take the e.l.f. Brow Lift, and I've used this before. I always put this over my eyes. Again, there's always something you don't have that you need, and what I went and got this time was this little spoolie that I purchased off of Amazon. As you see, they come straight. I kind of bend it over. It just makes it work a little bit better for this process. And then I take the e.l.f. Brow Lift. Wow, I'm kind of all over, aren't I? But you know, that's just me. So the e.l.f. Brow Lift, that's what that looks like. And it's a clear, sticky stuff that just helps to hold your eyebrows down. And I just put my little spoolie in there and then swipe it over my brows. And I like to do that because if you're like me and you have gray eyebrows, they want to stick straight out. They don't like to lay down. So this stuff really helps. It kind of like plasters them down to your face. Drop the lid, that's okay, I'll get that later. Next we're going to do mascara. I'm going to try to curl my eyelashes a little bit, but as I've said before, my eyelashes are so straight that I don't know that this even helps, but I still do it anyway, you know, so hopefully it does, since I take the trouble to do it, even though I really can't tell that it does. Ouch. You know, this was a eyelash curler that I purchased and paid more for. Normally I get them at the Dollar Tree, but this one I got and paid more money for it. It's not supposed to pinch your eye, but you know, guess what? It pinches your eye if you don't get it on there exactly right. For mascara, and I know this is going to be a mistake, but I'm going to do it. As I've said previously, my favorite mascara that I use all the time is Thrive Cosmetics. That is a tubing mascara, and I didn't know what that meant at first, but it has like little tubes, black tubes in it that adhere to your lashes to make it look like your lashes are a lot longer than what they really are. I mean, I didn't know it was called tubing. I just learned that. But I had gotten this sample, again, from ordering from the e.l.f. website, and it's the e.l.f. Big Mood, and I'm gonna try it. Again, my eyelashes don't do well unless, whoa, that is a big old fat brush. Okay, here goes. Who knows what's gonna happen here? I'm gonna have to look over in my mirror. Yeah, it's not gonna do too much for me. And it's, you know, it's nothing against the e.l.f. product. It's just me. I have such short little lashes that if it's not a tubing mascara, it doesn't do too much. I guess you could see it did a little bit on this side, not a whole lot. I'll try a second coat in a minute. I can see that it is going on. I really do not like this brush at all. It's, to me, which with such short lashes, it's way too fat. Now, I guess if you have long, beautiful lashes, it might work well for you. But for me, it's just okay. I would not purchase this all the time. This was, like I said, a free sample. And I actually have stopped ordering mascara from places because I've spent so much money on different products, and I go back to Thrive every time because it's just what works. Yeah, this seems to want to clump, but again, that could be me. I think it's a lot to do with that big old fat brush. So there's that. You know, it's there. It's the e.l.f. product, and I said I was using all e.l.f., so that's what I'm going to use. Next, I'm going to go with the e.l.f. Soft Glam Satin Foundation. And you saw earlier I put on the primer, so now I'm just going to go straight in with the foundation. I'll put it on the back of my hand. And I'm using e.l.f. brushes also, so I'm going to go back to the one I had earlier, the Complexion Duo. And I guess this brush, you can use it for whatever you want. I'm going to take the big side and use it for the foundation. I'm just going to pat it in there and start putting it on. That's a pretty good color for my skin. I'll look in just a minute and see what that color is. I'm gonna have to get a little bit more. This color is 25 Light Neutral. Yeah. Under that it says it in another language, so I was trying to figure out what that was. But it's Light Neutral. I am pretty fair skinned, even though right now I do have some tan. You'll notice as it goes into winter, I'll get lighter and lighter. And that's why I do try to go up into my hairline, because I do have a white line across there from where I went to the beach and was in the sun, even with sunscreen, still got some suntan. And I try to cover that white line up because it just looks odd. Go down on your neck a little bit. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Has pretty good coverage. I know a lot of people love the e.l.f. Soft Glam Foundation. It has a satin finish, so I like it pretty good too. We put the under eye brightener on earlier. For concealer, I'm going to use the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. There's different kinds of this camo concealer. I think the one with the black lid doesn't say hydrating, but the one with the white lid does. And you know, being dry skin, being older, having dry skin, of course, you know, anytime I can use something hydrating, that's what I'm going to do. And again, take the other end of that all-purpose brush and just start swiping that in up on the inner eye. Of course, I got way too much, but we'll get it blended in. See how I got way too much? I don't like to take my fingers, but sometimes you just have to. Especially if you get too much, like I just did. You know, obviously it doesn't take much of that product at all. I'm not going to do my bottom lashes because of that that mascara. I don't think would do very well for me. So I'm just going to let that go at that. Next, I'm going to take, I have an e.l.f. bronzer and contour. I cannot tell you what the color is because I cannot see that at all. So I'm just going to take a little swipe of this on both sides of my cheek, keeping it up high. Oof. Okay, we're going to see how this does. Again, I don't put it all over my face like a lot of people do. They put it up on their nose, down under their chin, and that's good. They do a good job of it, but that's just not something I do. Oh, this is the e.l.f. contouring brush. So that's what it's made for. This exactly right here, what I'm doing. It's real stiff. It's got real stiff bristles to it so that you can really get that blended in, you know, which is a good thing because if not, you're gonna have a big brown streak on your face. And I do go up on my hairline just a little bit. I think I got more on this side than I did on that one. So I'm gonna put one more little dot, just a little dot, because it doesn't take much. And then I'm gonna blend that in. And I'm getting it in my hair. Okay, so that's the contour. Next, for blush, here's something I've purchased but I've never used, and it's the e.l.f. Halo Glow Beauty Wand. And you see it says blush. Just, again, another language, and then it says blush again. I was trying to see if it had a color. And this has got like a foam end, and you squeeze the product and it'll come up out of it. I've seen other people do this. I've never used this. But I know they say to squeeze and stop. There it comes. See how it's come out? And I'm gonna try, give it a try. Again, I'm afraid to put too much. I'm gonna go back to my contouring brush. Put some of that in before I go to the other side. Because I do know that on some liquid type products, if you put those on and then go to other parts of your face, they'll stick. You have a hard time getting them to blend in. I'm trying to get a little bit more to come out, so I'm squeezing, and there you can see. I'm gonna swipe that over on this side and then blend it in. That's pretty subtle. It doesn't show up very much, so that's good. I mean, you know, unless you like a heavy blush, which I know a lot of people do. I just do it and it comes out however it comes out. And then I just let you know, I'm happy with it. The next thing I'm gonna use is I have an e.l.f. Perfect Finish HD powder. And it is a white powder, which is supposed to like color correct your face. It has a mirror, and underneath it has a place you could put a powder puff if you wanted to. I have a e.l.f. powder brush that I purchased not too long ago. It says e.l.f. powder on it. It's a different color, unusual. So I'm just going to dip into that powder and start swiping it all over my face. I like this brush. It has a good feel to it. So we'll see what it does. Again, this white is supposed to be like a color correcting powder. So we've got that. And then I'm going to go in with some Halo Glow setting powder by e.l.f. And I like the way that e.l.f. did their container on this powder. It's got, one side's got little, it's got an open spot, so you twist the lid around, and that way you can just shake out a little bit rather than getting a whole big bunch like happens with most powders, because most of them just have a big gaping hole there. So I'll put about that much. I'm going to take that same brush, dip it in there, and swap it all over my face. So that's a finishing powder, so it just sort of sets everything in place. And any oily looking spots, you know, like down the T-zone, it'll help with that too. I'm going to take my little e.l.f. I'm going to get a little bit more of that finishing powder, setting powder. I'm going to take my little e.l.f. finger powder puff, get a little bit of that and set under my eyes. And you know I do this probably all in the wrong order, but you know, really doesn't matter. As long as it gets on your face, does it really matter what order you put it in? So anyway, so any that's left, I pour back in there. I turn that back closed, put the lid back on it. And then I think it's time for lips. Like I say, I'm not going to do my bottom lashes because I know me, I would just make a mess. First thing we're going to use on my lips is a cream glide lip liner. Plum and Get It is the name of this one. Plum and Get It. I'm going to have to look over here in my mirror, but I think you can still see. On the e.l.f. lip liners, they're just okay. Some people I know will carry on, oh, they're just so wonderful, so creamy. Personally, I don't find that. I find them to be a little dry. But the color's going to match what lipstick I'm going to use, so I'm going to use it. So there's that. Plum and Get It. The lipstick I'm going to use is a Black Cherry. And I used this the other day on my way to work, and it's really pretty. It looks so dark, and it is a little dark, but nothing compared to what it looks like. Swipe that on. I do have trouble with lipstick bleeding because I do have wrinkles around my mouth. I use a straw every day, all day long, which is, you know, not good for you. Plus, I did smoke many years ago, you know, back in like the 80s when everybody else did. Not anymore. I quit that a long time ago. The next thing I'm going to use is a sheer stick lipstick. Brilliance. I don't know the color, but that's what it looked. Let me, of course it's upside down. There's that. And it says lipstick, but it's really more, it reminds me of a gloss, and it's a twist up, so you can twist it up and down. And that's just to give the lipstick some shine, because that is a matte lipstick. So it doesn't have any shine to it at all. They don't give it a whole lot, but it gives it a little bit. And then the last thing I'll do is put on some setting spray. So the last thing I do is the e.l.f. Power Grip Dewy Setting Spray. You just take that, you shake it up, and then just spray it all over your face. To me, the sprayer on this one doesn't work all that well. I've heard people talk about how good their sprays. Mine doesn't seem like it sprays all that great. And normally I don't use that. I actually gave this bottle to my granddaughter, but I'm going to use it today because everything I've used has been e.l.f. When I wash my face, all my skincare products, all my makeup, and even my brushes have been e.l.f. So this is the way it is when everything is e.l.f. So I hope you have enjoyed today's video of all e.l.f. products. I like them. I think e.l.f. is a really good brand. I purchase from them all the time. I have purchased a few things from Amazon, Walmart, but I mostly go to the e.l.f. Cosmetics website because you get free stuff. Plus, for joining their beauty squad, they call it, which is free, you get, sometimes you'll get so many dollars off your order or so much of a percent. So I like that too. So anyway, I go straight to the e.l.f. Cosmetics website. And as I mentioned in my little short the other day, you can see this lipstick makes your teeth look even whiter. That's one thing you'll find as you use a darker color lipstick, especially with reds in it. It will make your teeth look whiter, which you know is always a good thing. Again, thank you for joining me. I hope that you will like the video and subscribe and join the family. I'd love to have you. Have a good day.